So I want to do a section on punch bags and punch bag techniques, so I'm going to include some reviews on bags that I use. So this one is from Turner Sports. It's a 4-foot cowhide leather bag, and I use it for quite a few different techniques. Using a punch bag is quite important because you can really put quite a lot of weight behind it to test the technique to see whether it's really viable and powerful and whether your body mechanics are working properly. Because if you've got a partner who's holding pads, it's great for speed work and this sort of thing, but when it comes to really putting some power behind it, you don't really know that your body mechanics are working properly unless you've got something that's actually going to take quite a bit of force. But before doing any kind of bag work, you need to make sure that your shoulders are warm, your elbows are warmed up and your wrists are warmed up, and generally that you've done some basic warm-up so that your muscles are warm as well. Because if you start to use a bag and any real kind of force and your muscles are not warmed up, you'll be much more prone to injury. So for shoulder warm-ups, we're just going to do some forward rotations with the arms. Just get the shoulders nice and warmed up this way. You do this for a minute or so just to warm the shoulders up properly, and you're going to rotate the backwards as well. You should really push to the outer edges, not just small movements, so you're really pushing the boundaries of your arms and the shoulder range to make sure that your shoulders are warming up. Also, we're going to have the arms parallel and we're going to be pushing the arms backward this way. So I'll show you from the side. So we're going to be pushing the arms this way. So that's actually warming up quite a lot of muscles around the shoulders as well, because the shoulders are going to be prone to injury if they're not warmed up. Again, we'll do this for about a minute. You relax your shoulders. We're not tensing the shoulders up this way and pushing this way. We relax the shoulders and we're pushing the arms back this way. Going in from the back, we're pushing back this way. Again, I said we'll do that for about a minute. Next one we're going to do is you're going to have your arms flat this way. And you're going to make big circles with your arms to the outside first. You're going to have your palms face forwards. As they turn over, they're going to face backwards, then forwards again, then backwards. And we're going to rotate the arms this way, just making sure the elbows are keeping still, the arms are keeping still, so it's the elbows that are working on this way. You're going to do this way for about half a minute. Then you're going to stop and you're going to go the other way around again. So this time your palms are facing back, and then they're going to turn to face the front, and then the back, and then the front. So you're turning the hands over on each circular motion. So this is going to make sure that the elbows are all nice and warmed up as well. You will feel it in other muscles as well, which is good, but mainly we are warming up the elbows. Again, another 30 seconds, and that's going to be your elbows nice and warm. Also, we're going to warm the wrists up because particularly working with a bag, there's a lot more resistance, so it's much more prone to injure your wrists, especially if it's the first time you've been using a bag. Obviously I've got the wraps on now, but so it's less movement by design, but you'll be doing this without the wraps first of all. You're going to lock your elbows into the side and you're going to make big circles with the wrists, but you're going to keep the elbows locked into the side. The reason for that, if you keep the elbows out, people tend to do this and not actually move the wrists too much. So you're going to lock your elbows in and you're going to make big circles with the wrists outwards. Again, do this for about 30 seconds and then we're going to come inwards just with the wrists for another 30 seconds or so, just to warm the wrists up. As I said, I've got less movement on the wrists now because I've got the wraps on. Now the wraps are very important because they're going to give you wrist stability and they're going to keep it still so that it's going to avoid injury. You can get these as well. These are RDX P-Fit gloves. They do provide quite a bit of wrist support, so if it's speed work that you're going with, these are a great choice because they are very good on the padding here as well. But these ones I'm using are just a standard gel glove, but the main thing is they are putting the wrap all the way down here. These ones are from T-Sport. So the important thing with these is you get a nice tight wrap around the wrist, mainly covering the bit that's going to flop about here, like this. There's lots of videos on YouTube. I'm not going to go into how to do a wrap. There's lots of other videos on there for that, but get a good wrap technique so that the wrist here has got nice and support. You still need to be able to move it because being too rigid is just as bad as not wearing it at all, but you need it enough so that you've got some support here. So now onto some basic technique when using a punch bag. Now, one thing you've got to remember is this is designed to take a lot of force. It will move, but the design of it is to actually take the force. Now, what that means is you're going to have to be able to deliver force to it, otherwise it's going to injure your wrist and your arms and everything else. So when you're delivering the power to a punch bag, you need to be really delivering this power and not just throwing your arms at it. Because if you just throw your arms and hope for the best, then it's going to injure something here. Because if your arm is not rigid enough and everything else isn't strong enough, then you'll be going to cause yourself some injuries. So please bear that in mind. So how do we do that? So we all do lots of different punching techniques and practice with our partners. But usually what we're doing is we're working on speed and movement and different directions and this sort of stuff. So you're coming upwards, you're coming downwards, you're coming around this way, you're doing hooks, you're doing back fists, this kind of thing. But with a punch bag, it's slightly different. When you're actually delivering lots of power, you want to be going in a straight line. That's the most important thing. Because if you're going at an angle with a lot of power, what happens is, if you look at my arm here, everything is going down in this angle, and therefore the bag is going to want to move in this direction, but also that means that the weight coming backwards is coming back in a straight line. So if I punch down this way, the response from the bag is in a straight line towards me. So straight away, that's going to put a lot of pressure on my wrist to come this way and bend this way. So you'll find if you punch down, it's going to skim down this way and it's going to hurt your wrist. So you don't want to do that. So what you do want to work on is straight techniques. If you want to punch in a low section and you want to practice low section punches, you're going to drop your weight down and punch this way. Okay? So you're punching in a straight line. So if you're punching level to your chin, so chin height or head height, you're going to be punching straight. And if you want to go for a lower section here, you're going to drop your weight down through your knees, keep everything nice and flexible through the knees. You're going to drop your weight down and push this way. You don't want to be having an angled punch to a punch bag. That's the main thing you want to avoid. Straight away that will give you wrist problems. Okay? So, main thing with getting the power behind this is that you have to put your shoulders through the motion and your whole body weight is pushing forwards. If you stand here and just make the punch level with the edge of the bag, like this, then a lot of that force is going to come back to you. Okay? It will have some impact, but actually what's going to happen is the majority of that force is you're going to ricochet back through your arm, and eventually it's going to give you elbow problems, most importantly, and shoulder problems, because the shoulder is not actually a very strong joint with the way it's constructed. Okay, so the way you're going to put power behind this is you're going to have to push your shoulder and your arm through the movement. So as you make this movement here, everything goes through. Okay, so your shoulder, everything works through as one, this way. So you need to really work on that. So I'll show you this from the other side. So beforehand, what we're doing is just making contact. So if you've got a partner holding a pad, generally what you're doing is punching at the pad this way. Okay? So what you really need to work on is your shoulder, and everything is going into the punch bag and pushing through. So you want to have everything move through this way so everything stays strong. Because if you have any weakness in the shoulder, then it's going to cause you problems. Okay? So you're going to work on single movements to begin with. So you're going to work just on one move and get that strong. Now you're not going to put all of your power in first of all, because what you need to do is work up to it. But you'll know whether it's working or not, because if you have any kind of ricochet coming backwards, if it pushes you backwards this way, then you'll find that the power is coming back through your arm, and that's not what you want. What you want is to be in control of the move. Use your shoulder to push through the move this way, and you take your step back. Okay, you should see the difference with the back move. You push yourself through this way, you are pushing the move. Okay, you're controlling the bag weight's not controlling you. But all of that comes from the shoulder, pushing the shoulder in a straight line through into the bag, this way. So we're going to work on just the leading jab first of all. You're going to work on that for a while before you get that really strong. Next you're going to work on a jab and a reverse. Now the reverse is going to cause just as much problem as the jab if you haven't got this technique of pushing the shoulder through. Worse so because it's behind, and if you don't twist the shoulders and the hips and have all of your weight come forwards, then you're just going to be punching the edge of the pad again this way. So if you're punching the pad here and you only go for the edge of the pad, again you're going to get that ricochet come back at you through your elbow, through your shoulder. It's going to cause you problems. So if you're working on a jab and then a reverse, or you can work on the reverse by itself, okay, again you have to push the shoulder through, which means you've got to turn the shoulders, turn the hips, everything comes forward, and control the move and push this way. Okay, so you'll see the response in the bag. as opposed to pushing me back, I'm now in control of the bag. Okay? And again, if you want to do a lower section, even if it's a reverse, you're going to drop your weight down and you're going to make the same move this way. But you've got to be in control of the back. So then you're going to work on them both together, but you're not going to put all of your power into it to begin with. You're just going to have a strong and a strong. This way. Wait for the bag to move. Strong, strong. You need to control the move. Strong, strong. Okay? If you find that happens sometimes, if the bag's moving, sometimes you're going to skim off it this way. What you don't want to do is just relax halfway through because you think you've missed. What that will do is that will actually hurt your shoulder more than if you follow it through. So then you want to build it up, you're going to work on some drills, you're going to have strike, strike, reverse, jab, jab, reverse, jab, jab, reverse, jab, jab, reverse. And again, you're going to work on this for a couple of minutes and then you're going to switch sides. So those are the basics of working with a punch bag. Do be careful, make sure you get a good wrap and look on YouTube, get a good technique to wrap this around. I may do a tutorial on that later, but not just yet. So if you're going to work on a bag, remember you need to control the move and put your weight behind it. It's different from working with a pad with a partner. If a partner is holding a pad like a focus mitt that I've done in another video, then it will move, it can move, there's not as much weight behind it. So if you want to get yourself one of these, I suggest you get a good one. This one, as I said, was from Turner Sports, it's the Turner Max. This is a 4-foot bag. You can get a 5-foot bag as well, which is also useful for low section kicks. This one actually is quite useful for knee height kicks anyway, so I've gone with a 4-foot bag. So again, thank you for watching. If there's any questions, please drop them in the comments box. And if you want me to cover anything in particular, please do let me know. Thank you.